Creating a file manager with Next.js is essential for most Next.js projects, but I couldn't find a tutorial that explains that in depth, so I decided to create a complete one. In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to implement a file manager with Next.js, handle file validation, group files into different categories, and let users view and download them as needed. So let's get started. Just so you know, creating tutorials like this takes a lot of time and effort to make. So by liking and subscribing to my channel, you're gonna really help me out. Thanks a lot. To start the tutorial, just try to clone the tutorial branch on this repository down below on your machine. Perfect. Install all of the dependencies and run the project using npm run dev. Also, currently I'm using Node version 22. Now open the localhost port 3000 on your browser. As you can see here, currently we have a very minimal setup for our starting project. And to save some time, I created before tutorial a very simple file manager template for this tutorial. But currently none of the functionalities work, and we need to implement the functionalities on the buttons and also display the uploaded files here. Now head over to your IDE and open the File Explorer here. Now to show you a very quick demo that what I have done earlier for this tutorial, open the next.config.ts file. As you can see here on our next.config file here, I have increased the body size limit of our server actions from 1 megabyte to 100 megabytes. And if you don't do this, you're not allowed to upload files more than 1 megabyte because of the security issues that it can cause. Also, I changed the output of the project to a standalone because it's required when we need to Dockerize and persist our data on our container. Then we need to add the domains or URLs that our Next.js project can read images from it like this. Currently, because we are on localhost, we need to add our localhost hostname here in the remote patterns. And also, if you want to, for example, deploy it on your own domain, you need to also add your protocol and hostname here. Also, inside our gitignore file here, at the end of it, I have added our uploads folder here to prevent the files that we upload during our development and to prevent them from being pushed to our repository. And the uploads folder will be automatically generated on the root folder of our project whenever we want to upload something here. And let me just remove it here. Now open the app folder of the project. Let me just show you the utils.ts file. These are a few utility functions to use inside our project, like sanitizing the file names that the user upload to prevent from directory attacks using malicious file names. Then a few more utilities like this that you're gonna see them in action, but because they are irrelevant to this tutorial, I'm not gonna explain it in depth because the names of them are pretty self-explanatory. Like for example, getting the MIME type of a file to pass the correct headers when we need to pass the file to the user's browser. Also a few more formatting utilities like this, and also specifying the category type of the file using its extension and mapping it to the correct file category like this. And because we are creating a file manager, we need to also group our files in different categories like this: video category, audio, document, for user to have a better experience like this. And at the end, we're gonna export all of them down here. Now inside the page.tsx file here, we see a very simple structure here where we show the upload form and the list of the files that we saw earlier in the layout.tsx file. I didn't change anything and it's default Next.js boilerplate here. And also in the constants.ts file here, we see that we are specifying our allowed types of which that the user can upload inside the application. And also if you want to extend it with more MIME types like this, you can extend these allowed types constant here by looking up the correct MIME type like this. For example, if you want to let the user upload Excel files like this, you need to check the corresponding correct MIME type from the browser's documentations to let user to, for example, upload different types of files on different browsers. And just keep this in mind that the MIME types like this might be different on different browsers. So you need to pay attention to the browser documentations. And inside the components folder, we have our form component and our list component here. The form component lets the user to upload their desired files by providing a very simple input like this, by specifying that what files are allowed here, and also a simple submit button that sends the data to the server. Also at the end, that when the user clicks on the upload file button here, the submit button, the data on this input tag with the name of file or whatever that we want will be passed to this handle upload function here, that we're going to implement it and save the file to our server. And we are going to use server actions for the most type safety possible. The list component also is mostly the same. First of all, we are specifying our files and getting them from our servers in a few moments in the tutorial. Then we are going to make them grouped using the utility that we just saw earlier. And at the end, we are going to map over them here and show the user the type of the files in each category, the corresponding name of it, like this, because we are appending also the timestamp that the user is uploading the file to making the file names unique. We are showing the user the date that file has been uploaded to our server by parsing that timestamp that we get from the file name. Also, a very simple button that when the user clicks on it will delete the file, and we're going to implement it here in a few moments. And here, let me just scroll down a little bit. And here, for each type of the file that we are mapping over them, we're going to show the correct presentation. For example, for image type, we're going to use the Next.js image component. For videos, the audios, and also miscellaneous or other types of the files, we're going to show them as a simple text that also user can download it if he wants. Also, we're going to create a simple yet very powerful route handler for our application that will read the file on the uploads folder on the root of our application and shows the user the corresponding correct presentation of the file. Now, let's just implement the functionalities, the core functionalities of our file manager. The first thing that we need to implement is to let the user to upload the files to our server. So inside the app folder here, I'm going to create a new file called actions.ts or whatever that you want. Just so you know, creating tutorials like this takes a lot of time and effort to make. So by liking and subscribing to my channel, you're gonna really help me out. Thanks a lot. Here, first of all, I'm gonna specify the result that this server action will return to its consumer. And after that, I'm gonna create my upload action here. And first of all, before anything, I'm gonna wrap all of the function here inside a try catch block like this to handle errors better like this. Perfect. And I want, if something unexpected happen here, I'm going to return this option here with the type of our upload result here, which is going to indicate that the operation was unsuccessful. Also with my desired message like this. And then we're going to show the error message to the user, so the user will know that what went wrong during the upload process. Now, first of all, we need to get the file from our form data like this. And for better error handling here, if no file is not provided when using this server action here, we're going to return this object here to the user. And also don't forget to put the use server directive at the top of the file to explicitly tell the compiler that this file needs to be run on the server. If everything is correct so far, I'm gonna after that check that the provided file is of our allowed and specified file types like this, and don't forget to import them accordingly. And if the provided file type is not correct, we're gonna return this error message here. And after that, if everything is correct here, we're gonna check that if the file size is bigger than our specified file size here, which is 100 megabytes. And if it is, we're gonna return the corresponding error message like this. And till this point of our function, we already know that the file is provided, it is of our allowed types, and also the file size is correct. And after that, we can start to save the file and let the user upload it to our server. First of all, I'm gonna get the current timestamp of our server to know that which type has been uploaded when and to make the uploaded file names more unique. Then I'm gonna make the file name safer to prevent the user from directory traversy attacks like this, and also import the sanitize file name function from our utils file. And then I'm gonna specify the path that our file is gonna be uploaded there. First of all, I'm gonna import the path module and also our upload directory from our constants, which is gonna be in the root folder of our project or wherever that we deploy our server, in the uploads folder like this. And after that, we're gonna make sure that our upload directory is present by using the makedir command on fs module, and let me just import it from fs/promises. Just make sure that you are gonna import it from the promises module of fs package. Then let me just scroll down here. Then we need to take the file from our form data and convert it into a buffer format that the Node.js can easily work with. Think of it like we are translating the file path to the form data from the client into a format that Node.js understands it. So first of all, we're gonna need to read the file data like this by using the array buffer on the file on our form data and convert it to a buffer that Node.js can work with it easily like this. And after that, whatever that we want to do relating to saving the desired file on our server, we're gonna use this buffer so we can easily work with it. After that, I'm gonna save the file by using the write file method on fs module in the generated file path here with the desired buffer that we just get it from our file. Now at this point, we have successfully saved the desired file on our server, but something might go wrong during the upload process. For example, when the user internet connection is slow, or it's gonna be disconnected, or something unexpected happen on our server, we need to also revert and remove the data that has been written on the disk of our server. So to do that, first of all, I'm gonna check that and get the stats of our new written file on our disk. And then I'm gonna check that if the file on our disk and its size, if it's not equal to the desired file and its size like this, because this indicates that the written file on our disk is not correct. So we can first of all remove or unlink the corrupted file like this. And after that, I'm going to return a very simple message showing that upload process was not successful. And if everything till this point goes on plan, simply, first of all, I'm going to revalidate the page that we are going to show the user the uploaded files. Currently in this tutorial, we're going to put our list of files in the root path like this. So we are 100% sure here that the user sees the latest state of his uploaded files. And then, for example, we can return a message that the upload process was successful, and also we can return the file name if we want. Perfect. Now we have implemented a very simple upload handler for our upload action process like this, that is gonna get the file through the form from the user, and it's gonna write it on the disk of our server inside our upload directory. And just at the end, don't forget to export the upload method that we just created from this script here. Now let's head over to the form.tsx, and here in this to-do section here, I'm gonna remove it like this, and then I'm gonna pass the user's file on the form data like this to this newly created upload action like this. And for better user experience that something unexpected might happen, I'm gonna first of all get the result of our upload process like this. Then I'm gonna create a very simple state like this, for example, error message, and its setter, set error message, is equal to use state from React. By default, the error message is null, but the main type of it is of type string like this. And then I want, if the upload process was not successful, I'm gonna set the error message on the cause of the problem, and otherwise, if everything goes correctly, I'm not gonna set anything on our error message here, and simply making it null. And to show the error message for better user experience for the user, I'm gonna paste this this simple line here to show the user the error message with the correct stylings like this. Now to check that everything is working correctly, just restart the dev server to make sure everything is correct. Now try to upload anything that you want. For example, I'm gonna select an image here and click on upload file. As you can see, there is nothing here because we have not implemented it yet. But to make sure that everything is working correctly, I'm gonna open the project like this. And as you can see here, the uploads folder is created automatically with the selected file like this perfectly. Now we need to find a way to show the user the uploaded files by reading the uploaded files on our server. To do that, let me just open the list component here. And if you notice, you're gonna see for each file type and for its presentation like this, here, here, and here, we see that there is an src property like this that is gonna get the file and show it to the user by using this simple endpoint or route handler that we're gonna create it now. To do that, just open the file explorer again, and inside the app, create a folder called API. Inside it, create the new route handler inside the download folder because it's responsible to pass the file to the client, and inside it we're gonna get the file name like this as a parameter. And also don't forget to pass the file name here inside square brackets because it's a convention in Next.js, and we can get the file name from the request by accessing this property here exactly with this name from our request parameters. And again, it's the Next.js convention. Inside it, create a route.ts file, exactly the same that we do for our pages or layouts. Here for route handlers, instead of creating a page.tsx, we're gonna create route.ts, and just make sure that the name of this file is exactly like this. And whenever the user tries to request to this location on our application, the function in this file will be run. Here in this file, I'm going to create an HTTP GET method here. Just make sure that all of the characters are uppercase, and it has been exported as a name export like this. And if you want to implement other HTTP methods to this route, for example, you can use something like post or put or whatever that you want. And here in this example, because we need to pass the user the requested file name, we're going to use the HTTP GET method here. The first parameter of this function is not needed for this functionality, but the second parameter of this function is going to be the thing that the user is requesting to download it here. So this file name here exactly must be the same as this file name parameter, the folder name of our route handler. And also in the next version 15, the parameters or search parameters provided by the Next.js server is going to be of type promise. So whenever that we want to use the params, first of all, we're gonna await them before we are using them because they are promised now. And as before, and the same thing that we have done for our server action, also we can do it for our new API endpoint or route handler. I'm gonna wrap everything inside a try catch block, and let me just import the next response from the next server package. If something unexpected happened during the process of sending the user the requested file name, we're gonna simply return a JSON data like this showing an internal server error with the status code of 500. And please do not let this confuse you with these server actions. These are route handlers, the API endpoints that we can create in any Next.js applications. Now inside the try block here, I'm gonna first of all await the file name passing to the parameters like this, and then I'm gonna first of all check that if no file is provided, we're gonna send the user a message that the file name is required, although it's not necessary for this tutorial, but it's a good practice. Then if the file name parameters is passed this API endpoint, first of all, I'm gonna check that the requested file name extension is allowed for our application by the utility that we just created earlier. And if this content type returns null, we're gonna simply exit the function here by this message that the file type, the requested file type, is not valid. Now at this point, we are sure that the user is requesting a valid type of file. So now we can start to look for the file by creating our desired file path. by using the path module and join method on it. And first of all, we're gonna get the current working directory, because the current working directory of your application on your local machine might be different from the working directory from, for example, a Linux server that you're going to deploy this application. And after that, I'm going to pass the upload directory here to tell the Node.js to look for the desired file in this folder and look for the file name passed in the API endpoint. After that, we can check that the generated file path here is valid, and also don't forget to import the fs module from fs/promises. And let me just scroll down here again. And first of all, we're going to try to access the file path on our directory, and if an error occurs in this process, we simply return the message file not found. And also another good thing to check here is that we do not want to let the user to access files more than the 100 megabytes threshold of our application, and if he tries to access those files, we're going to return a message that he cannot do it. And if everything is correct so far, we're going to first of all read the file again using the fs module here on the correct file path. And after that, I'm going to specify that how the browser should handle this file, show it to the user directly or try to download it automatically when the user clicks on it. So if the file extension can be shown by using this utility that we just created earlier, if the file extension is viewable by the browser, we're gonna use inline disposition. Otherwise, we're gonna use attachment disposition. So if the disposition type of our response header is of type inline, the browser is gonna show it. Otherwise, it's gonna be downloaded automatically, and we're gonna use it in a few moments. And at the end of our try block, I'm gonna simply create a new next response by sending the file to the user, but don't forget to specify the correct headers like this so the user can handle the response of your API endpoint better. First of all, for the headers, I'm gonna first of all specify the content type that we just created above. The content disposition helps the browser to understand that how to handle the display of the file, and also a few more response headers, although they are not required, but they are highly recommended because of the security that they provide and the best practices. Perfect. Now everything is implemented. Just one more thing here is try to like the error message like this to make the Next.js compiler happy because it was an unused variable before. Perfect. Now we have implemented a simple API endpoint that we're going to use it to display the uploaded images, video files, and audio files, and let the user to view them and download them if he wants. Now let's head over to the list component again, and below this files variable here, first of all, I'm going to again create a try catch block as previously. Then I'm going to read the files on our uploads directory like this, import fs module again from fs promises. And if something happens here, I'm going to log an error like this, because we were trying to read the files on our upload directory, but something went wrong, and we are 100% sure that the uploads folder is not there. So we are gonna create it on the error block like this. Then we are gonna group them by our utility. We're gonna handle this handle delete function later. And below here, we see that there is nothing that we need to do here because we are currently have implemented the corresponding API endpoint inside our API-/download/file name in a simple HTTP GET method here. And we're going to use it to display the corresponding correct data presentations in the corresponding HTML tags. And if we try to head over to the browser, we see that our uploaded files are here. For example, I can try to upload different files, but as you can see, there's a problem here. The problem is that inside our upload action here, I have forgotten to put the recursive option here. So the creating the upload directory only happens if it does not exist. And if it exists, it's not gonna do anything. And then again, if I try to upload new files like this, or for example, a simple PDF, we see that the file types are correctly inferred like this. And for example, we can upload a video file like this. And if you scroll down a little bit, we see that we can show it to user and download it and download the document files and also view the images that we want. But also we need to delete the files that we do not need them more, but we have not implemented our delete functionality. It's pretty simple. Just head over to your actions file again. Then at the end of it, I'm gonna create a very simple method just to delete the file. Let me just replace it with our upload directory constant here to make it more maintainable. We're gonna deleting our desired file from our upload directory, and also we're gonna revalidate the correct path like this to make the data fresh and not stale. And at the end, don't forget to export the delete file like this. Then again, head over to your list component again and remove the to do comment here and just try to paste your delete method here as simply as this. And if the user tries to click on the delete button here, you see that the files are gonna be deleted from our server like this. I hope this video was helpful to you. We have learned how to implement a very simple yet very powerful file manager with Next.js. We have learned the concepts of file handling in Next.js and Node.js, how to check the validity of the uploaded files, and also how to let the user see and download the desired files on his file manager. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.